we are back again. Another year of this. Everyone waits all year for this, I guess. It is the top 5 Transformers of 2022. I'm here today with JawzD.
Yo, what's up,
We
people?
are back again for this with JawzD. So we are going to do what we always do. We do the top 5 voted by JawzD. We do the top 5 voted by me, and then we do the top 5 voted by the fans, along with shout outs from our patrons and YouTube members. It's pretty simple. If you want to play along, you could just say what your top 5 is down below in the comments. So JawzD, what is your top 5 Transformers of 2022?
All right. So this is not in a specific, like, this is the best and going down, just kind of just 5 in general. For my first one, I have Studio Series 85 RC from the Bumblebee movie. So I did like that. It's a new mold. It's a new alt mode and everything like that. Just looks nice and smooth. When those opening moments of that movie pops up, you're just like, oh my god, that I know who that is. That's very obvious of who that is. And so I think she looks really amazing. And I think this year we had a lot of just that same mold of RC kind of reused again and again for this year. But I like that this one was like, kind of taking from what was it? Not Prime, before that. Energon. There we go. Energon motorcycle RC. And then Prime RC was a motorcycle as well. And then this one was a motorcycle as well.
So you're referring to the, because there's 2 Studio Series RCs. There's the one that's based off the 86 movie they did recently. So you're referring to the Bumblebee movie one.
Bumblebee movie specifically.
Yes. Okay.
Specifically that one. So I'm saying like the 86 one, I think they've used that mold before, right?
It's kind of things. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of in that same vein. But this one I like because it was just completely different mold. Haven't seen it like that before.
I like it because if they ever did like a Tron collaborative, it looks so much like something you like a laser cycle almost kind of thing going on, like the Tron cycles.
Very true.
No, it's a really cool mold, and it's something too that if you're looking forward to the Rise of the Beast movie, it's kind of like one of those figures you pick up, and it's like her before she becomes a big name in the Rise of the Beast movie. No, it's a really good looking toy. It really is. And again, something that's like it. What's amazing is all of those figures, in all honesty, all appear in the movie for like barely a couple seconds, but yet they had full-fledged models and figures and designs. So credit to, I believe that was, I want to say that's Evan design from Hasbro. Evan from the Studio Series team, they worked on those ones. I think Mark was more with the legacy stuff, but really good design.
And my second after that is Brawn, again, Bumblebee movie, new mold.
I got that one right here.
Oh, nice.
I love that one. That's a really good one.
So again, new mold, just new way of looking at Brawn, just very different. So I really dug that. And yeah, like it kind of keeps to that, like what you would picture in your head as Brawn, but like more modern interpretation. So you got the yellow on the chest and it comes around the back of his head and everything like that, almost like a life vest kind of thing going on. And so that one for sure. And I think he comes out like a little drill,
and the cool thing about the drill thing is it's kind of a throwback to the old cartoon where there was a scene where he used a drill. So it's it's all those little fine details. And again, another toy that appears for like 5 seconds in the thing, gets shot in the shoulder,
shot in the same way, just like
shot in the same way, but still had a full-fledged design and everything and toy. Like, again, very impressed with what they did there.
Okay. For my third one is Transformers Legacy Iguanus Core Class.
A lot of people voted for that. That's very interesting that you picked that too.
Yeah, because I feel like like he did have a toy, but like I don't think he had like an actual toy. You know what I mean?
He had a Pretender toy. You know what I mean? Like that was it, which is like that has its limitations. As Pretenders are cool, but they also are quite limited in design. And so, and it's amazing that you voted for that, because a lot of people, it didn't make the top 5, spoiler overall, it didn't make the top 5 from the fan votes, but it did get a lot. And and even me, I was kind of going like, really? Wow, the core class. That's an interesting, because none of the other core classes got as much votes as him. I was very shocked.
because I also feel with the core class, it's kind of similar stuff. You know, oh, we've had that before. We've had that character before. We've had that character before. Iguanas, that's
Yeah, that's something we
somewhere
haven't got.
else.
Well, that's
You know.
that's that's one thing that you're going to see that's a common thing with a lot of the fan votes that we're going to have soon.
Mm.
Is it's a lot about characters that have never been done
Yeah,
proper, And
exactly.
Brawn is one of those too. I mean, we've had Brawn toys like you mentioned throughout the years, but nothing that was really a deluxe scale. It's always been
Mm.
smaller,
Yeah.
little legends, little things here like that. So it works.
And then my fourth one is another legacy, G2 Universe J-Axis.
Yeah, that
So a full
you hear that
blown
all today.
full blown, like, we're not taking from another mold, we're not doing this. And I'm trying to remember if there was an alt version of J-Axis in the comic, or he was just always in robot form. I'm trying to remember really
Okay,
hard.
so there's literally two panels that we see
Mm.
him in it, and both panels are kind of inconsistent with each other. So I'm pretty sure, I believe that was a legacy design, so it's a Mark Mayer creation, that one. I'm pretty sure they probably looked at those panels and went, because to me, robot mode kind of always takes precedent. So they
Yeah.
probably went, how could we be like, slavish to the robot mode, give the fans that G2 panel look,
Mm-hmm.
and then work with what we've seen of alt modes to make it somewhat like that. Because when you look at what it looked like in the comics, it had more of a bat wing kind of thing, which you
Yeah.
do see it with the toy a
Mm-hmm.
little bit, but not as egregious, I guess is the best way to put it.
Right.
But yeah, that toy, oh boy, everyone loved that.
And one thing I really liked about it, I think someone online found this like little extra play bit with it, with his gun rifle. He has the red one specifically on. I think when you get the toy, it's this little red and green like thing that goes on the back of his rifle, and if you take that off, you can actually put it on his shoulder.
Oh yeah.
So that
Has like
little
kind of like a little shoulder thing going on.
yeah, there's a little shoulder thing that you can like, so a little add-on kind of thing. So you can kind of pretend it's like a clip, I guess, that goes on the back, and then or like a like something that go into your bicep kind of thing to hold
Mhm.
it, or you can take it out and put it on his shoulder, which I thought was pretty cool. Like, oh, that's a little extra play bit that you can do with them as well.
That was something that Legacy, because Legacy didn't really have an overall gimmick. They kind of had like, oh, the weapons kind of come apart and could go back together. That was kind of the overall plan that they had initially. But
Mm-hmm.
as Legacy continued, it seemed to kind of disappear a little bit. So
Right.
I think that it's part of maybe also them going like, well, Legacy's still about these mixing and matching of weapons and parts and pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it might be kind of a holdover from that too, maybe.
Okay. And my last one is a collaborative.
Oh,
Transformers collaborative. Transformers collaborative. Megatron HISS.
ah,
His
you like
tank
this
with
tank.
Cobra, Baroness. One thing I always kind of wish, like, I guess maybe more in the 2000s, or maybe like as they had like the movie line had, little people figures, and then they would go
The
into
Human
the actual
Alliance.
the Human Alliance stuff. I kind of wish that they would kind of put the GI Joe and the Transformers kind of together, kind of thing. I mean, you kind of got it here and there. I remember there was a was it an F-15 colored Starscream for San Diego Comic-Con one year.
Yeah.
But but it was just the F8. It was just the Tomcat but it didn't transform, but it looked like colored like Starscream. So the fact that they finally got it done and they did it, I think that's really cool. And I would like to see more of it. But there was two of them, and I think this one beat out the other on my list because it's just Megatron, his tank.
And his tank's
big,
super iconic, yeah.
Yeah, and just big baddie Megatron, and with Baroness, which is pretty cool. So those are my five.
That was, and what's cool about that too, that was more of an in-house design by Hasbro. It was done by more of the in-house team and stuff. So interesting to hear that one. That one didn't get any votes. Like,
oh really?
Yeah. When we're gonna get to the fan vote, like there was a lot of interesting votes.
Do you want me to do any honorable mentions, or
you can give one or two? Sure, give two.
Okay, I'll give two. Which one am I going to choose? I have four, but I'll give two.
Okay, give all four then. Give all four.
Okay. So again, honorable mention, not any specific order of best to worst. It's just collaborative. Again, Bumblebee, AWE Striker with Lonzo Wilkinson. Who's Lonzo Wilkinson?
That so they couldn't use Stalker, which was his actual name, which is funny because it's also a Transformer name too. So they just went with that's his the one thing with GI Joe characters. If ever they go, oh, we can't use the code name for whatever reason, they just go with the actual name of the person.
So there was that. Transformers Legacy G2 Universe Megatron Core Class, because I'm a 90s kid. I grew up in the 90s. When I saw G2 Megatron as a tank and just really cool green and purple colors, like, oh, that's so cool, so
that actually got a few votes, that one too.
So
not as much as Iguanus, but yeah,
I didn't want to put on the main list because that's a pretty iconic version of Megatron, just tank mode, G2 colors. So I was like, okay, that's cool, but like more honorable mention. Legacy Skullgrin Deluxe Class, like represented as an actual toy and not like a core, what was it called, a core
class or the Power of the Primes Pretenders, decoy armors.
Yeah, exactly. So but this like full-on toy, and I thought it was pretty cool when I saw it. And this one I just added to the list because I saw it and I was like, I really liked it. Studio Series Ironhide Voyager Class. So
the G1 one.
Yeah, the G1 one. So basically the shrinking of the Masterpiece with the diamond crotch. Still really good toy.
That one does a better job than the Masterpiece, even in my opinion. But again, it's also long period of time, for them to perfect stuff. And with Transformers, it's always a learning curve with a lot of those designers. And sometimes you could have that unlimited budget of Masterpiece, but then 5 years later, you go, we could fit that into a Voyager class retail price point.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I mean, need I say more when it comes to Studio Series Hot Rod? That's what I always say. As someone who collected, I'm looking to the left of me, 5 different Masterpiece Hot Rods, and then all it took was a Studio Series to be the best out of all of them. So.
And every year you're getting a Hot Rod, man.
Well, that's the story of my life.
That's what it feels like every year. Yeah. Every year, bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
And that's
alrighty.
That's my list.
So me, I'm gonna pull up the full list. So my number 5, that was the toughest one because it was really tough for me to make this list. It really was. There was 3 of them that were pretty much a shoe-in, but then my last 2 was really tough. So I'm not going to give honorable mentions, but I will say who almost made the number 5 spot. So my number 5 that almost made it was Legacy Tarantulas Deluxe Class. Looks really good. But he got beat out by his other, and I'll explain why I feel he won in the end, Legacy Voyager Class Beast Wars Inferno.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So the reason why I felt he beat out Tarantulas is Tarantulas had some really good toys. Otherwise, even his original toy, when it got reissued, they painted it up to make it super show accurate and stuff. Where Beast Wars Inferno, the sad truth with him is if you try to mess with the original today, he'll break. Clear plastic, fragile. The toy wasn't super show accurate. It was about, I'd have to say, 70% there, but it still has, it's like the hands are kind of weird. The way the gun is kind of weird. The pinwheel, but it's almost there, but not quite. And this one does everything that we needed to have a super show accurate Inferno, bring him into the modern era, not use translucent plastic that's brittle now all these years later. So it's something where if you want to engage with that character, you really have only one option, and luckily it's a new one. It's something where you don't have to go back and find an old 1997 Beast Wars toy that potentially might be broken, potentially might not have the missiles. So that's where he kind of edges out against Tarantulas, where Tarantulas had a lot of good toys, and you have options, and all of those options are still kind of affordable and not fragile at all, which is a good thing, which sometimes with Beast Wars toys, unfortunately, is a truth. So definitely Inferno looks great, just looks fantastic. My number 4, and again, this is the same kind of story, Studio Series number 91, Leader Class Revenge of the Fallen, which is once again a guy that needed a toy. So his original toy was based off of a early concept design, so didn't match how he looked in the movie. Up to that point, literally his best looking toy was a toss up between the robot replica, which was like a 6-inch limited articulation action figure that didn't transform,
Yeah.
and a Transformers 2010, I think it was Reveal the Shield, Hunt for the Decepticons, which was a transforming the Fallen, but it was colored in like blue and purple. It didn't match the colors in the movie. And it was a Voyager class, so it wasn't exactly the right scale. And that was it. And then we had like nothing forever. And it was just me going like, when are they going to finally revisit the Fallen and give him a proper toy? Not only did they give him a amazing toy that matches how he looked in the movie, but removable face with the damaged face under it, the staff, which again the original toy did not have, didn't come with a staff, so which he used in the movie. So all those little extra beats and details. Some people might argue, well, Protoman, that alt mode is garish looking, but wasn't really an important factor of the movie. You don't really see it that much. The alt mode is a suggestion, and again, he's ancient Cybertronian, so it can look whatever it needs to look like, in my opinion. So, but yeah, definitely the Fallen. Really excited that they did that. Again, me, it's all about like doing those old toys that really need updates that haven't in a while. Number 3, might be the controversial one, but not so much with the fans. I'll tell you with the voting. HasLab Victory Saber. Now, this would have been higher on the list, but the thing that hurts it is its price. I still stand by that. I felt it was a very overpriced item, but I will not take away from the fact that it's a very well put together item. I have it right over there. You can barely see him. Wendell knows my love of Star Saber from back in the day. Again,
I was there for that.
A great opportunity for people to engage with that character and his combiner element of Victory Leo to make Victory Saber. It's a great figure. It's a fantastic figure. Again, why is it not higher on the list? That would have made my number 1. Its price. I think that by making it $179.99 plus taxes, I felt that it was cutting out a huge portion of the Transformer fandom that would have liked to pick this up if it was a retail product. And in my opinion, it could have been I still stand by it. Some people argue otherwise, but I still feel it can be a retail product. Just look at I have a picture of Star Saber next to Overlord. They're the same height. You know what I mean? And then I have a picture of Victory Leo next to Titans Returns, Voyager class, Astro Train. They're the same height. And the reason why I took those two, because those two had a lot of parts and pieces to compare them. And I feel it could have been 2 retail products. I feel that Hasbro kind of just wanted to use it as a premium item, end of year Q4 profit boost for the new CEO. I guess that's the way I kind of see it from the inside baseball business standpoint of it. But at the end of the day, it's still a fantastic product. Tons of cool stuff going on with it. It's just, I feel that it kind of it was gatekeeped a bit by its price. And I feel bad because a lot of people either couldn't afford it, won't be able to afford it, or now what's happening with Victory Saber, where China didn't get any of their inventory, got lost at sea. No joke. Yeah, long story. And now a whole bunch of people in the UK, their orders got canceled, so those didn't happen. So on top of that, now it looks like it's going to be a rare product.
Oh, no.
So the secondary market's probably going to get crazy in a couple of years, which sucks because now it's, wow, what a great figure, and you can't even get it. And HasLab, I don't know what their stance is, but it doesn't look like they're going to want to do reissues or repaints. I hope they break that. I hope that's not. They said that with Unicron. They said we're never doing it again. This is one. So I hope that they break that so that other people can enjoy it too, because it's a fantastic toy. It really is. It's amazing. It's just the price that keeps it from getting the number 1 spot. And that's my number 3. So I still think there's 2 more above him.
Okay.
My number 2, just like you, Legacy Voyager G2 Universe G-Axis. Long overdue. He's one of these things where it's like they registered the trademark all those years ago with an RID toy. Like, let's repaint Beast Machine's Jetstorm in orange. Right. And call it G-Axis. So just so we could have that trademark in our library. And then years later, them pretty much repainting a Armada Starscream, giving him a G-Axis head sculpt, but still painting him orange. So they almost got there, but not quite. But I always say this, when the name is in that archive, when it's trademarked, sooner or later they're going to revisit it again. And Mark and the crew, they revisited it and they knocked it right out of the park. And what's cool about it is they even said they're going to try to make sure Simon Furman gets a copy, who created G-Axis.
Nice.
So like it's a beautiful little project that gives fans an opportunity to engage with a character that just never had a proper toy, but made a big impact if you were a G2 90s comic book reader, or even supplemental material afterwards, like Simon Furman's Regeneration books, where he comes up again as a character. And it's just nice to finally get a definitive G-Axis figure. And I like that they sculpted it to have that 90s Andrew Wildman kind of look to it.
Yeah.
And it has that rough around the edges 90s comic book kind of paneled look. Looks great. Absolutely fantastic. Love it to death. You picked it. I picked it.
Yeah.
The fans picked it. Spoiler. Like, it's on there. It's on the top 5 list, because it's just, people really dug it. People really dug it a lot. They saw, like, what I saw, everyone else saw too. And I was not surprised when I was tabulating the numbers and going, oh, what a surprise here. And my number one.
Oh, here we go. Drum roll.
And my number one, and in all honesty, I thought I was going to be the only one who voted for this, but I was surprised how many people voted for it too. Maybe because of, again, this character had one toy, and then at most had one piece of merchandise on the side. And it is Override, aka Nitro Convoy. I've been waiting many years for them to update this character. In my top 3 favorite Transformer characters of all time, Nitro Convoy is on there. And liking obscure characters like that from the Unicron trilogy is dangerous, because back then, the chances of getting a new figure of a classics version or a masterpiece, forget about it. But it happened. They found an opportunity, because the good thing is it's part of the Legacy Velocitron Speedia 500 collection, which means it's a Walmart exclusive, which means that when it's a Walmart exclusive, you could get a little more creative, because they're sold exclusives, meaning Walmart already paid for everything. So you could get a little more, you could do a laser cycle, you could do this, you could do that. And so they took that opportunity, and initially it was supposed to be a Studio Series Hot Rod retool. Imagine, that was the original plan. And then they just built something from the ground up with the tooling, and it looks absolutely fantastic. It's everything I would have imagined a masterpiece version would have been. The original toy, as much as I love that character, was an auto transformer, which right away means it's going to have its limitations. It's not going to have the full articulation. This, it did everything that the original animation model had from Galaxy Force, aka Cybertron. If you're a female Transformer collector, it's a female character for you for Override. If you're a male Transformer collector who likes race car stuff, that was me in my case with Nitro Convoy, the male version of it from Galaxy Force. So it's a toy that also does double duty. I was surprised how many people voted for this one also. Like, I thought I was going to be like maybe 1 and 2 other people. So super, super happy that this got made. It's my number one. It sits on my desk. And that's that. The only one that I want to say is an honorable mention. And again, part of the reason why I don't put it out there 100%, just because of how difficulty of pickup and how it might be in the same market, is Minerva. We got the Legacy Minerva, Walgreens exclusive. People are scalping it.
We finally get a Minerva. I think the last time I remember you did a review.
Yeah.
You did a review of, what was that Minerva you did a review on years ago?
Well, so just to go through Minerva's, might as well, is original Minerva, okay? $2,000 figure, priced out for everybody. Then you have, you fast forward many years later, and you have the PVC line, SEF PVC. Okay, little PVC figures. Those are like $10 each, but they don't transform. They're not really that well on articulation. So you can maybe get that Minerva. You get human version and the robot. Then you have Wonder Festival Japan model kit, 1 of 200 made, resin kit. Forget about it. $170, and you have to get someone to assemble it for you. Shout out to Lou from Sci-Fi Anime. That's what I had to do, because I don't deal with resin and paints and everything like that on that, advanced level. I'll do a Gunpla kit here and there, but so like that was another $175 item with a wall behind it because of design. Then you have Kotobukiya, the doll one there, that crazy doll one there of Minerva human version. Again, 150 bucks, $100. They were always expensive items. Then they even did a bootleg, which then the secondary market ate up, and that became like $100 item. So this one came out, and I'm like, okay, deluxe class, MSRP, let's make it happen. You know, let's get Minerva into the hands of fans. And oh, it's a Walgreens exclusive. Oh, people are scalping it. Damn it all. You know, so if she was easier accessible, and maybe if it was an original mold, because she is a repaint retool of Alita 1, but still very good job. I firmly believe, I still think there'll be another Alita in the future, maybe a retool of Nightbeat, which is where her origins come from, and from a Porsche. And I think we'll have a perfect Minerva, maybe one in the future. So don't overpay for Minerva right now. There might be something down the line because they have the trademark. So see you in 4 years. You know, we'll see something. So that's it, more or less. So that was kind of like one of my honorable mentions. Let's get into the fans.
All right.
So first, before we get into the top 5, we're going to do some ones that got voted by some Patron fans but didn't win. So Horned Owl, one of our patrons, shout out again to all our patrons that help support the podcast, keep us going. Horned Owl voted for Masterpiece MPG02 Getsue. So he really likes the train bots.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Getsue, I'm surprised he picked for Getsue. I would have went with Shuki, the bullet train, but he likes Getsue, so that's pretty cool. Horned Owl. Alice Devil voted for Shattered Glass Flame War, which was the repaint of the RC into the Flame War BotCon colors. Interesting choice. 2 people voted for that, so he wasn't alone on that one. Masquerats voted for Studio Series Core Class Rumble, as in cassette tape Rumble.
Interesting.
So that was his choice. Again, it's very, some of the votes, I'll tell you, because we had over, by the way, we had over 250 votes. And some of the individual votes, I was surprised what they were willing to attach their wagon to. Let's put it that way. Orlando Chavez voted for Hasbro PulseCon exclusive Alpha Trion. That's a really good mold. That's one too, where it's like long overdue for a good toy. So to get a good Alpha Trion. Cringe McCringle, he votes for Studio Series Leader Class Dinobot Sludge. So the leader class of the Brontosaurus. Pretty cool. Another good one. Those are always great. Those molds, I think, in 5 years, they're going to be worth a lot of money. I think people are going to want
let me just move over here to my slag. Boom.
There he is. Yeah.
Bam, bam,
those guys, I'm telling you, like 5 years from now, people are going to want to collect all those Dinobots in that scale, and they're going to be money. They're going to be money. I know it. I just have this gut feeling. Then we go to Timmy K. Poindexter Jr. Esquire. No joke, that's his name.
That's a good name.
Generation Selects Titan Class Black Zarek. Just great figure. I mean, doing a update of a number 1 expensive figure back in the day, number 2 expensive figure that suffered from gold plastic syndrome. Which, so I would never tell anyone go out and buy the original Black Zarek. You're throwing your money away. You're going to spend thousands of dollars to get a toy that will break in your hand if you try to transform it. So to do a update of it, make it way bigger than even the original was, a nice Titan class, and have it have, all that gold and everything, and make it only an MSRP of $150 to $170. Awesome. Great stuff. Quite a few people voted for that one. Didn't win, but quite a few people also agree with Timmy K. Poindexter here. And then we have HTFR Mike. He voted for Legacy Beast Wars Tarantulas. So he also feels like, that Tarantulas would have made that list. Would have made that list for sure. And he wasn't alone. There was quite a few people that loved that Tarantulas. Now let's get into the top 5 by the fans. This is the big one. This is what the fans voted for. So number 5. No one from the patrons voted for this one, but it did make the number 5 with 12% of the votes. It was Legacy Velocitron Speed 500, Deluxe Class, Universe, Override. I'm actually surprised people voted for her. I don't know if they're sucking up to me. I don't know if they just also really like the character, or hey, it's a new fembot for your shelf, or in my case, he's always been a dude to me for the Japanese version, but people really liked it. So I'm quite surprised that it made the number 5. Number 4, and this was voted by Patron and YouTube members Soup99, Snorlato, and Rodimus Power, G-Axis.
Yeah.
G-Axis, a lot of people voted for G-Axis. 31% loved G-Axis on this one. And we already said our piece, but yeah, G-Axis, big deal. Really, really meant to happen. Next one here. No YouTube members or Patreon members voted for this one, but it did make the number 3 spot. Legacy Leader Class Beast Wars Transmetal 2 Dragon Megatron. I was very surprised by this one getting this many votes. Again, 37% of the voting. Yeah.
Yes. You got to say it like
really
that.
Good figure. That one, I'm waiting for the Cryotech repaint. It's probably going to look really good. But yeah, again, giving a Beast Wars toy that has its own fragility today.
Yeah.
What's amazing, when we did TFCon Toronto, I was with Aaron Archer at his table. He had his original, because he designed that Transmetal Megatron. Even his is falling apart.
Oh no.
It's a very thin, like you could put it up to the light and the light shines through the plastic. It's not translucent, but it's almost there. And it's not holding up. So to get an update that's way more show accurate, and
I gotta look at mine. I gotta dig mine up and make sure it's okay.
it's the ankles that are scary. The ankles of the robot mode. Yeah. It's a little scary, that one. Mine's fun. I had one, it busted. I bought a brand new one off of eBay, and it's going to stay in robot mode forever. Number 2 is a tie. We have a tie with this one. So the first one didn't have any votes by patrons or YouTube members. Legacy Commander Class Motormaster, our Commander class this year. Centerpiece of Menasor. A lot of people really loved it. They thought it was a really good toy. They liked the fact that you could kind of make a combiner mode without having the combiner pieces.
Right.
Obviously you just have to plug them in. They liked that it does a base mode. They liked the robot mode. They felt it was the definitive, perfect version of Motormaster after many years of attempts and trying to do something. So we will see what happens with that in the future, what they do with that mold. There's a lot of rumors of what they'll do with it afterwards, but a lot of people really loved that one. And the other one that tied it for second place here, and this was voted by Billy B, Kevin McNulty, Ashnud Dawnbringer, and Mr. Bumblebee. They all voted for this. It would have made my list if not for some of its issues in terms of how to get it. Legacy Velocitron Speedia 500 Deluxe Class Cosmos made number 2. They say it's because it's the most accurate Cosmos figure and everything. I agree. It's a really good figure. I don't know about it getting like a high spot in terms of what's the word I'm looking for? In terms of like its notoriety throughout the year compared to other stuff that came out.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's really good to get another Cosmos figure. We got really good Cosmos figures throughout the years.
Yeah.
In both in a core class kind of basic scale or whatever we want to call it, scout scale back then, legend scale. I think Cosmos always really got good figures regardless. So how this one gets into it. But I think what also greases the wheels with a lot of people is because he was ridiculously hard to get. He was one per case, which made it very difficult. He was scalped like crazy because he was one per case. And I think that added to his mystique and why people wanted it so much. There was a lot of drama. A lot of people still to this day want a Cosmos and still can't get it. They're asking, MSRP of $27.99, but $60 to $70 on eBay, people are asking. And I think that's what kind of hurt it a little bit for me to even make my list. I don't think it still would have made my list, even if it was a retail product of simplicity. But I think that's probably why it's here today for a lot of people. A lot of people voted for this, again, to tie with the Commander class for number 2. I think it's just they see a prestige in it.
Right.
Because they were actually able to get it. And now they have this really rare item. And speaking of prestige, let's talk about number 1, voted by the fans. By a landslide, not even close, more than double of everything else voted here. Voted by Collector Prime, Space Ghostal, Jason Whaley, Cardion, Ben Williams, Grimlock Customs, Ronji.com, Lord Soundwarp, Dark Twilight, Louis, all of those. Let's talk about it. HasLab Victory Saber. And again, I think it's I don't want to knock it, but I think that also what I think helped it get to number 1 was the prestige. I think a lot of people who, and again, to me, sometimes people will like something more because of how much they had to invest into it. Whether it
Right.
be the adventure of hunting it down or how much they had to spend. I almost kind of take away from that in a lot of ways because then other people can enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I can understand if you took all of that away, how expensive it was and stuff. I think it's a fantastic figure. I really do. So again, I love Star Saber to death. I love that character. I love Transformers Victory, and I think it's a fantastic version. I think that the Star Saber on its own is still not on par with, let's say, the Masterpiece version, but that's really comparing apples and oranges, so I don't really want to do that. But I
Okay.
still feel it's a great product. It should have been retail, but the fans voted, and they feel it is the number one Transformer product of 2022. And considering that now it's going to be a tough product to get because some of the population is now missing from the overall sales, that's going to make it even more difficult. And I fear for the future of its secondary market value for people that do want to engage with this figure because it is a very good figure.
Right.
So we will see what happens, but that's what was voted by the fans. Again, we'll just go through it quickly. Number 5, we have the Cybertron Universe Override. Number 4 is G-Axis. Number 3 is Transmetal 2 Megatron. Tied for number 2 is Cosmos and Motormaster, and number 1 is HasLab Victory Saber. So once again, fans, thank you for the voting. Thank you for the love and support that you give us every single year towards the podcast. We're going to have one more live stream before the year is up and everything, but I just want to take this moment, if you don't catch us on the live stream, to thank you for all that you do for us year after year, month after month, watching the podcast, sharing it online, liking, commenting, subscribing, super chatting when we do live streams, being part of the Patreon, being part of the YouTube members, giving JawzD shout outs anytime you can when you see him at a convention.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Still very humbling. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm not on the show, but I'm still kind of working in the background, helping out. Like, hey, I heard this morning. Oh, I got this message. So I'm still kind of playing around in the background, and I'll sometimes pop into the chat.
Speaking of background, as you can see in JawzD's background, he had since moved, and that's what made him so absent from the show because he's been so busy. He's slowly building his collection display back up back there.
Yeah.
It's getting there. Maybe by next year it'll be more colorful, and we'll see more stuff. Yeah, we'll get some new shelving for you. But anyways, guys, thank you for all the love and support, and again, thank you for being a voter on the podcast. From JawzD, I always have to. Which way am I going? From JawzD and me. Take care, everyone. Thanks for everything. Anything you want to say, JawzD, before we go?
I'll just say happy holidays to everyone. Be safe. Be awesome. Help out your fellow toy collectors out there. Try to help each other out because we're all we got, man. We're all family here, you know?
Exactly. Take care, everyone. This is Protoman. That's JawzD, and we're out of here.